Problem number 5 of completing the square. And what we're going to do is just follow the steps. There is no number in front of the x squared term. And because of that, we don't have to worry about step 1. But we can start by subtracting 10 from both sides. And as we subtract 10 from both sides, remember we're going to add in our box. So this is going to be x squared minus 18x plus something, which I write as a box, equals negative 10 plus something, again, written as a box. To figure out what goes in that box, we're going to take the number in front. So negative 18 is the number preceding the box. And we're going to divide it by 2. It's always divide by 2. And then square. And if we do that on the left box, we need to put the same thing in the right box. So negative 18 divided by 2 squared. Let's simplify that a little bit. So we get x squared minus 18x plus negative 9 squared. Negative 18 divided by 2 is negative 9. Over here on the other side, negative 18 divided by 2 is negative 9 squared. Again, I know that that value actually equals 81, but I think in terms of the factoring, which is going to be the next step, that we need to write it in this format so that we do not have to split the middle. Writing it in this format, and because we're creating a perfect square trinomial means that both of these values in the parentheses are going to be exactly the same. So where are we going to get the same values? X squared is x times x. Negative 9 squared is minus 9 minus 9. If we were to FOIL or double distribute those two parentheses, we would see that the negative 18 is part of this. It's just hidden in those two parentheses. On the other side, we can simplify. Negative 9 squared is negative 9 times negative 9, which is positive 81. Condense this down. X minus 9 times x minus 9 is x minus 9 squared. Negative 10 plus 81 is 71. And we're getting close to finishing. Ultimately, what we're trying to do is we're trying to figure out what does x equal. So we're going to undo the squaring by taking the square root. And if we take the square root of the left side, we're going to take the square root of the right side. Square rooting, squaring, cancel each other out. Don't write the parentheses. When we take the square root, we need to deal with both the positive and the negative value of the square root. Most of the time in math, we just deal with the positive, but it is positive and negative, the square root of 71 in this case. And lastly, we can move this 9 over to the other side. So we end up with x equals 9 plus or minus the square root of 71. Once we have completed the square, we've solved for x. Our last question is, could we have factored this expression? And the answer is no. Just a reminder that if the answer has a square root in it, we cannot factor. If the answer has an I in it, we cannot factor. If we have both a square root and an I, we cannot factor.